have Franny Becker here. Franny, what year were you born?
In 34, in a dust storm. My aunt lived just a half a mile north of where we were, and Dad had to go over in the dust to get her to come over to help deliver me.
Could you kind of describe kind of what, I guess, the Main Street and businesses in Tipton were like when you were young?
Okay, Main Street in Tipton is totally different than what it is now. Our sidewalks were full of telephone poles and probably 20, 30 lines coming in from both directions going down to the telephone office.
What about some of the businesses downtown?
Okay, downtown was always a very active place on Saturday nights. People would come in to do their trading, as they called it then. They'd bring in a case of eggs, 30 in a dozen, or 30 dozen in a case, or they'd have to pay cash, but they would trade those eggs, and instead of getting money for it, you could trade it for cereal and stuff. There was a motel right across the street from where the community building is up there on the east side. Treb or Great Plains has their building there now, but that was a motel, and you had 3 grocery stores. You had a soda fountain and a drugstore, we called it, which is now where the grocery store is. And it was a store that should have been kept. It was beautiful inside. It had everything that you wanted. And I might as well let you know about a little secret how things were back then. We had a bar, a pool hall. They had 2 snooker tables and a pool table. And it had a bar, and the bar was fairly high, and I'm short to start with. But if you could look over that bar, you were old enough to get a beer. And so it took me a long time to get high enough to see over the bar so I could have a beer. There was a car dealership, or 2 car dealerships. One car dealership also sold tractors. We had a blacksmith shop on the north end up there of the Great Plains building. Just across the street, they got a building right there. It was a blacksmith shop. And the town had no pavements, no gravel. It was all dirt roads, and you could get stuck on Main Street if you was on a wet, muddy year. You'd get stuck on Main Street. East of town 2 miles, we never got electricity to 3-4 years after Tipton had it, because they came down the north road out of from Tipton, north of Tipton. Anybody living within a half mile of that road, you had electricity, but they took them a long time before they go beyond that. And so we were without electricity out there in the country for years. Yet I remember that when the sun came up, you got up, and when the sun went down, you went to bed, because there was nothing else to do or see. But Tipton was, I think what we need to really do is thank our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents. Somewhere the Lord gave them vision, and this is how Tipton was founded. And right now, as the present day, our people, our young ones, our old ones, all involved. But I like the years back then. I go back a lot of times thinking about it. Life was hard work, physical work, no air conditioners, no nothing. We worked. But when we took time off, it was a friendly way of people getting together without getting into arguments. They were friendly arguments. And I tell people a lot of times, I'd go back to that time any time, because life was relaxing, hard work, but when you took time off, it was relaxing, because you got together like on Saturday nights in Tipton, and you could just talk about common stuff without having to be afraid you was going to offend someone.